Welcome to the Angus Report, the week's top Angus stories broadcast on the web by the American Angus Association. I'm Bob Cervera. Our top story for the week: flooding in many areas of the country are leaving more residents displaced and ranchers looking for alternative acreage. News of additional levee breaches along the Missouri and Souris River continue this week, while more farmers and ranchers lose acreage to flooding.
We've seen a lot of flooding in the last 2 to 3 weeks. Of course, this last week, mine at North Dakota has flooded quite a bit with a record amount of water coming through that community. We've seen, the valley, upstream, downstream. A lot of cattle have been moved out of the valley into higher ground. And what's going to happen now throughout the summer, this water's going to be here, they're saying 4 to 6 weeks and maybe even longer. So a lot of ranchers have moved their cattle out of the valley, and a lot of that valley bottom ground in this area is a hay meadows. And we're seeing these guys talking about liquidating part of their herd or all of their herd because of feed supplies. I think the main thing some of these ranchers are waiting for is to see whether the CRP will get opened up so they can either put some cattle on there for pasture or be able to hay some of that. Hopefully, right now we've got a couple days of sunshine and expected a few more. If we can get some drying weather, I think some of that cropland that didn't get planted, we'll probably see some millet being planted or some Sudan grass or some type of feed. As far as ranchers wanting to market some cattle, we're still in probably a normal marketing situation. It's just that, it might be for an extended week or so before they have an opportunity to haul. But I think that we'll see some cattle marketed because of the flooding maybe toward the end of the summer, early fall.
More than a fourth of the state's crop acres did not get planted due to spring flooding, and significantly more are being forced out of production due to expanding waters. Last week, the U.S. House of Representatives adopted legislation that funds USDA for fiscal year 2012, but prohibits any money being spent toward GIPSA's proposed competitive markets rule. Some industry groups cheered the action, which was seen as a setback to implementation of the proposed rule.
There's an economic analysis being conducted. It has been issued in a proposed rule format, and it's the department's intent to issue it in a final rule following the issuance of the economic impact analysis. There are many members of Congress who have indicated that they have concerns about the regulation and are asking the department to provide an extra comment period on proposed changes to the rule. There are issues in the marketplace that this regulation is attempting to address. The issue is the unintended consequences that will result from the regulation. We don't want the CAB program to become, a greater risk to packers and prevent them from paying premiums. There's a lot of things that could happen between now and December when Congress goes out of session.
Rule proponents will now likely focus on Senate action to restore proposed GIPSA rule funding. And finally, Tom Fanning manages CAB licensed buffalo feeders in northwestern Oklahoma and says individual management at the feedlot helps to improve grade regardless of group size. The 30,000 head business specializes in feeding high-quality cattle.
We still have to load lots of cattle, but our packer partners work with us a lot to be able to slice that group up into smaller, more uniform groups. It works better for the packer performance, the harvest data, and it returns more to the producer.
Fanning and his crew weigh every animal upon arrival and set intake goals based on the numbers, estimated days on feed, and outweight.
The benefit of doing that is have improved health in the cattle, have improved digestive health in the cattle, and have improved efficiency and improved gain over the entire feeding period.
Visit cabpartners.com to hear more stories like Fanning's. That's all for this Angus Report. Join us next week when we provide the American Angus Association's latest news and information. Until then, visit our website, Facebook, or Twitter pages for articles, videos, and more information. Thanks for joining us.
Do you work for your cows, or do your cows work for you? For generations, the Angus cow has helped shoulder the burden for America's farmers and ranchers. She's a labor reducer, proven by time. She's built by decades of performance and productivity, and backed by the industry's most comprehensive genetic improvement program. So if you're wanting to share the workload, then look no further than Angus. The Angus cow, working hard since 1883.